Hello everyone. Now today I am there in front of you to discuss a very important topic of biochemistry, that is chemistry of nucleic acids. Now see, again, before starting up with this topic, all of you know should be familiarized with the term. What do you understand by nucleic acids? Now it is clear from the word itself, the acids which are present in the nucleus. So if we have to see what can be the acids which are present in the nucleus, they are what? They are DNA and RNA. And on the basis of these two things, the entire central dogma of information is based. DNA is what all of you again are familiar with. The word DNA stands for deoxyribose nucleic acid. RNA stands for ribose nucleic acid. There is a flow of information. DNA is considered to be present on the chromosomes and it is responsible for the transmission of characters from one generation to another generation. DNA is converted to RNA and this RNA is finally converted to proteins. But here we are talking about nucleic acids. So nucleic acids are what? DNA and RNA. The synthesis of DNA also takes place in the nucleus. Now RNA, as we are going to move further in the video, I'm going to tell you what are the different type of RNAs which are present, synthesized in the nucleus. Some RNA are present in the ribosomes which lead to the formation of proteins. So here in the chemistry of nucleic acids, we are going to concentrate only on DNA and RNA, which are the predominant nucleic acids. Now, since this video is about the chemistry means what is the composition of DNA, what is the composition of RNA. So what happens is DNA, RNA are what? They are the long chain of repeated nucleotides. Now all of you must be familiar with the term what is a nucleotide. Tide means three. So a nucleotide consists of three components. One is the nitrogenous base, second is the pentose sugar, and third is it consists of one or more phosphate. Phosphate here is negatively charged, which is giving a negative charge to this. Then a nucleoside. Nucleoside has a nitrogenous base, a pentose sugar, but no phosphate is there. So from this slide, we can conclude that a nucleotide consists of three components: the nitrogenous base, the pentose sugar, and the phosphate. And the nucleoside consists of nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, no phosphate. Then, first of all, we are going to take up these components one by one. First is nitrogenous base. Now, all of us know nitrogenous base means these are heterocyclic compounds. Now, what do you mean by the term heterocyclic? Heterocyclic compounds are those compounds whose carbon atom is replaced by some other, whether it is nitrogen, whether it is sulfur. Here you can see nitrogen is there. So these are the nitrogenous heterocyclic bases. Now there are two types of nitrogenous bases, purines and pyrimidines. Here obviously they are different in structure. Now here it is pretty visible that in purines you can see there is a extra imidazole ring which is absent in pyrimidines. Then here you can see, one thing I am going to tell you, a very interesting fact about these nitrogenous bases is that they are synthesized by a de novo pathway. De novo pathway means we are generating the entire structure with the help of enzymes in our body. Now purines, you can see here the numbering starts from N1, or you can say first position is given to nitrogen, and यहाँ पे you can see numbering is like this. So this is anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise numbering is there, and here you can see nitrogen, or this is numbering is clockwise. So this is one major difference. Second major difference is this N9 is attached to a sugar which is attached to phosphate, and here N1 is attached to sugar which is attached to phosphate. Halki, we are going to discuss this in detail when I am going to tell you about the synthesis of purines and pyrimidines. But here I'm just telling you that what happens is just because of this character, purines are N9 glycosides, whereas pyrimidines are N1 glycosides. So one component of nucleotide and nucleoside is common, that is a nitrogenous base. Purines are of two types which are present both in DNA as well as in RNA, adenine and guanine. So the two pyrimidines which are present are adenine and guanine. You can see purines में difference क्या है, यहाँ पे adenine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 position पे amino group is there, whereas in guanine second position पे amino group is there. So this can be 6 amino purine and this can be 2 amino purine. So these are what? These are the purines. Pyrimidines are cytosine, uracil and thymine. Right. The basic difference, if you see the structure, you can very well imagine in purines it was an extra imidazole ring, whereas in pyrimidines this extra imidazole ring is absent. And here I am going to remind you just one thing. Just remember, thymine has an extra methyl group. I'll tell you the importance of this methyl group further when we are going to discuss the pyrimidine metabolism. So these are what? These are pyrimidines. Then this is a very good slide explaining the difference between purines and pyrimidines, which we have somewhat discussed also. Purines have two rings, one extra imidazole ring. Pyrimidines have one ring. The example of purines are adenine and guanine. The example of pyrimidines are cytosine, uracil and thymine. Then sugar, very important. Sugar is attached at N9 of the base. That is why purines are N9 glycosides. Or you can say synthesis will start from N9. Whereas here sugars are attached at N1, or these are N1 glycosides. This is a very important question which is asked in the exam also. And obviously if something is synthesized in a body, it has to be degraded. That is what is the crux of metabolism. So purines, they are synthesized by de novo, so they have to be degraded. So degradative product of purines is uric acid. Very, very important. The concentration of uric acid in a body is 3 to 7 milligram per dl. And in pyrimidines, it degrades to form carbon dioxide, ammonia and beta-alanine. But these are generally harmless. Normal individuals में uric acid is synthesized in this concentration, but hyperuricemia leads to gout. So this is the difference between purines and pyrimidines. Then next we come over to the sugar. Now I told you whether it is a nucleotide, whether it is a nucleoside. One component is the nitrogenous base, second component is the sugar. So there has to be a difference between two. As the name suggests, DNA. DNA has deoxyribose sugar. RNA has a ribose sugar. And you can see both are pentoses. The sugar is having 5 carbon atom only. But the major difference is in the second position you can see in RNA hydroxyl group is there, whereas here it is H group. So ribose या RNA, the sugar present in ribose is more susceptible towards hydrolysis in comparison to this. So one component was nitrogenous base, another component is HOH or ribose or deoxyribose sugar, and third component is phosphate. So if phosphate is present, 3 things are present, it is a nucleotide. If 2 things are present, it is a nucleoside. This is how it is made. You can see this is the nitrogenous base. This is actually purine. This is the 9th nitrogen. And this ninth nitrogen, N9, is connected to ribose sugar, which is connected to phosphate. So this is simply adenosine monophosphate. If second phosphate is there, it is diphosphate. If third phosphate is there, it is triphosphate. In nucleosides, this would be missing in nucleosides. And this is another structure of this. You can say possible bases, nomenclature of nucleotides, and see, this is again same. And this is how we can name them. If we talk about nucleoside, adenosine will be there, means adenine plus sugar. But if tide is there, phosphate is added. Similarly, guanine, guanosine, and nucleotide would be GMP, GDP, and GTP. Cytosine, cytidine as a nucleoside, CMP, CDP, and CTP as nucleotides. Uracil, uridine. UMP, UDP, UTP as nucleotides, thymine, thymidine as nucleoside, and TMP, TDP, and UTTP as nucleotide. And one very interesting feature I'm going to tell you here is this uracil is required for the synthesis of thymine in a body. Because the major difference between RNA and DNA is RNA has uracil and DNA has thymine. Halki, we are going to discuss this thing in other videos. So this is just the chemistry of nucleosides and nucleotides. Then this is a very good slide which is explaining the structure of DNA and RNA. This is DNA. DNA is double-stranded. RNA is single-stranded. DNA has deoxyribose sugar. RNA has ribose sugar. The difference between the bases is the DNA has thymine instead of uracil and RNA has uracil instead of thymine. So these nucleotides or nucleic acids are very, very important. The precursors of these nucleotides are also required to perform so many reactions. They actually, just for example, if we talk about ATP, adenosine triphosphate, it is adenine plus ribose plus phosphate. It is known as the energy currency of the cell. Whatever energy is there, it is stored in the form of ATP. And whenever ATP undergoes hydrolysis, it gives back the energy for various reactions to perform. Then nucleotide derivative, just now I discussed ATP formation, which is the energy currency of the cell. Others are GTP, UTP, CTP. They are again very, very important. Similarly, formation of coenzymes they play a very important role. So nucleotides and their derivatives are actually very important. Then there are certain synthetic derivatives of nucleotides also which have a therapeutic role in a body to perform. Then we come over to cyclic AMP, a very, very important second messenger, which is inside the cells for many hormones. Similarly, cyclic GMP. Cyclic AMP and cyclic GMP are considered to be the most important second messengers in our body, along with phosphatidylinositol. But here we are talking about nucleotides, so CMP and GMP. Now what are the precursors? If we talk about CMP, cyclic AMP, it is synthesized from ATP. ATP gives rise to cyclic AMP in the presence of enzyme adenylate cyclase to form cyclic AMP. Once the function of cyclic AMP is over, it is degraded to form 5' yeah, you can say 5' AMP. Enzyme is PDE. PDE stands for phosphodiesterase. Similarly, cyclic GMP, GTP in the presence of guanylate cyclase, cyclization occurs. It forms cyclic GMP, which again in the presence of this converts into 5' GMP. Now, cyclic AMP and cyclic GMP both are considered to be very important second messengers. They play a very important role. If you talk about cyclic AMP first, it plays a very important role in carbohydrate metabolism. It helps in activate protein kinase enzyme. So it helps in accelerating glycogenolysis. It helps in accelerating all the degradative processes, and insulin always inhibits this enzyme and glucagon always promotes this enzyme. On the other hand, here glucagon inhibits and insulin promotes this. And this cyclic GMP is very important. It plays a very important role with nitric oxide. Helps in relaxation of the smooth muscles. It is a very important vasodilator. So cyclic AMP and cyclic GMP are nothing but the derivatives of these nucleotides. So basically what I am trying to explain you is, in the chemistry of nucleic acids, what are the different derivatives also which play a very important role. And then here you can see UDP glucose, a very important role it has in the synthesis of glycogen, choline in the synthesis of phospholipids, GDP mannose in the synthesis of glycoproteins. So they play a very important role in our body. Similarly, synthetic analogues of naturally occurring nucleotides. Just now I told you they have a very important therapeutic rules. जैसे these compounds inhibit the growth of cancerous cells. How? By inhibiting their enzyme activity or by inhibiting the synthesis of DNA and RNA. For example, 5-fluorouracil is there. It is a structural analog. Similarly, allopurinol, which is a purine analog, it is widely used in the treatment of gout because allopurinol is a competitive inhibitor of xanthine oxidase. Xanthine oxidase, which is a very important enzyme required for the degradation of purines. So again, the synthetic analogs are important. Then another very important question is, this is the question which is most frequently asked. DNA and RNA and nucleic acids always absorb at UV light. That is 260 nanometers, which is actually due to the presence of the nitrogenous bases. Because if you see the components, it has what? It has a nitrogenous base, it has sugar, it has phosphate. Sugar is same, whether it is ribose, whether it is deoxyribose, phosphate is same. The only difference is in the composition of the bases. So the absorption of nucleic acids at UV range is due to the presence of the nitrogenous bases. So this is all about the chemistry of nucleotides. In my next video, I am going to discuss the synthesis of purines and pyrimidines, because see, DNA and RNA are produced in our body. So what is the raw material required for the synthesis of DNA and RNA? It is nothing but purines and pyrimidines. So they are synthesized. Now, since if they are synthesized, there has to be a regulation for their synthesis. And if there is an abnormality in the regulation, it leads to different inborn errors of metabolism. So in my next video, I am going to discuss these three very important aspects of molecular biology. So if you want to study these topics in detail, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to see my videos. So thank you so much. Have a good day.